line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up.
Home sweet home. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Pizza Race TV, live here tonight as we are down in Newton, Iowa, my homeland, my home track of the asphalt side of things, Iowa Speedway, here on Pizza Race TV, now live coming to you here on front for the Champion Power Equipment Fast and Fun Cup Series as the playoff racing continues on right here on the show. Hi, got everyone. I am the Crusader, Christian Shriver. Welcome back as always as preparing to the action here today in Newton. We're about to get to the action. We're going to get seeing what we got on the lineup tonight. Starting on the pole, a little bit of a shock tonight. Triple Trey came to play Whitehead in the 33, takes the start. Just outside, Boyd Hagen, last week's feature winner, looking to go back-to-back in the 83. Randall Fox in number 3 will be outside. Will be inside of the outside of him with Brian Larazzo in the 77, the reigning defending Truck Series champion. Round number 3 sees the Mullen Man, OnlyFans, Robert Lawrence, 34 is outside. It's the 4, the Marana, James Harris. Row 4 sees Eli, the Wild Childs, and the 9 is outside. That will be the Zanny fan, Craig Janzik at the 40. Row 5 sees Kyle Holden, the 12 is outside. Stephen Gibson in the 21. Row 6 sees Tyler Meeks in the 35 is outside. Jason Taylor piling up the number 15. Row number 7, that's going to be driven down by Sheldon Pearson. The 8 is outside. Kevin Kersher in the 91. Row 8 sees Christian Wilcox in the 53 is outside. It's the Man Beast, William Mann Jr. in the number 29. Row number 9, it's Gar Snyder in the 88 is outside. Steve Clegg in the 22. Row 10, Grant Infinger returning back to the show in the 98 is outside. Sean the Bounty Hunter Bounty in the 19. Row 11 sees Brock Whitehead in the 82 is outside. That's old George Young in the 48. Row 12 sees Kevin Warren, the 112 is outside. Jacob Givens in the number 20. Row number 13 is going to be Charles Whitehead in the 51 is outside. Brad Patton the 10. Final starter, Matthew Johnson piloting up for the number 44 here tonight. Drivers preparing for a 130 lap on shootout here with the Cup Series division. This looks to be a hot one tonight. Field will pilot their way around the track, get themselves inside the zone and into the field playing run. We look to go green this go around here off a turn number 4 this time by. Look for them to get the cars off the track and set them into motion. The green flag in the air. And when it comes down, that means we're going racing. Here we go. The world's fastest short track about to bring some absolute chaos and mayhem on this speedway off the start. Right now, the 83 of Boyd Hagen already looking to put a beating on the number 33 Triple Trade candidate by Whitehead. Whitehead knows his season is pretty much all but done and over with unless he can find a way to kind of hang up with this field and kind of push some moments to their limits. Ryan Lorenzo right now the only driver out of the pack here in the top half that is in the points hunt in the playoff championship race, while Randall Fox, Trey Whitehead, and Boyd Hagen just continue to go outskirting and fighting through the field. Here comes us any fan. Craig Danzig at the 40 though, most muscling through the field already. He's got one up on some of these guys while he tries to take down the mullet man, only fans Robert Lawrence and the Blaster Master. The Marauder James Harris hanging himself down though, coming off corner 2. Everyone now starting to develop the single file draft zone here. Everyone looking to get themselves into a bit of a consistent pace, into a bit of a controlled run. This controlled state, as we like to refer to it as, can be a bit of a head scratcher and can be a bit of a challenge if you're not careful down there, for one reason, because if you get a little too aggressive, a little too on the nose, yeah, might as well kiss your race goodbye, because these things will not help you in any way whatsoever. We've got our great fans and folks coming on board already today here. Let's listen in. William Mann Sr. Okay, so my race went out here to cheer on the Man Beast. Well, man, I know how that is. I just got done racing my little race tonight. Brent Lowe coming on board saying, good evening, sir. Hope you had a wonderful day. Brent really did, my friend. Thank you for tuning in. Tracy Holden saying, go number 12. The Holden boys and family, and got them all wrapped up tonight. Through the fields we go here right now. Jason Taylor moving up there with the number 35 of Tyler Meeks. Meeks right now trying to keep his car, Rillo 35 Ford Mustang, ahead of the track and ahead of the transitions here, as Mr. Jason Taylor continues to dive her on in and give it everything she's got. Where as usual, American flag colors and that Remington style machine there. He's always been running the most kind of teams here. You just know that he's always been a part of it. He likes to run, and I don't blame him whatsoever. Bit of a new look here going on for Brock Whitehead camp. Looks like he's bringing out a little rainbow colors time on this 82. Although I have absolutely no idea what the heck is going on the side there. I just know there's a little passion, love, and love and feel in the world for the piece that he wants to bring in the 82. Still searching for a second career win here ever on Peach Race TV. Has a couple of heat wins as we saw back on the Backfire Sim Racing end, but the main event rise, still looking for that one to knock off the list. John the Bounty Hunter Bounty in the 19 Toyota Camry, trying to keep himself up in the fight, into the playing field, looking to make a move off the 82. A lot of guys will be driving up pretty high here through the corners. A lot of them will try to be backing them down into the ends here. Really, the hardest part about this track is this point blank, trying to hang on for dear life and trying to keep your car in one piece. It's a short track, obviously. It's only about it's less than 3/4 of a mile. But the thing is that those bankings, you got a wide open range from the top and the bottom. Cars love to run down on every angle and every spot. There's a lot of different ways you can hit it up and make it work on this track. And you're seeing right exactly now just what we're talking about and how they're handling it here. Bumming around downtown here, Marauder James Harris still trying to hang up there with us. Any fan Greg Janzik. Remember, Harris still searching for his first championship series, Champion Power Equipment Cup Series victory in the season championship standings wise. He's been in the shoe before, and he's been at it with Janzik quite a few times. He knows more than anything what it takes to win out here and what it takes to fight it out with the best drivers, and he is right now looking to hang in there. As does any fan, continues to drive it on deep and make her stick. Boyd Hagen, though, having a little bit of company here as Mr. Brian Lorenzo, teammate to the Marauder down here, looking to take aim and take a shot right at one of the top guys here, fighting him all down. Lorenzo really just kind of came alive in this playoff contention series. He really didn't even have much of a go around here when he was driving in the normal series, the season standings, but when he got to the playoffs, it was almost like a light switch. Now he's bringing everything to his table. Gavin Kishore now moving ahead of the 82 of Brock Whitehead. Sean Bounty now moving it down in to take a move on the 82, as well as the 19 tries to put some Toyotas up into the fight. Got a couple of them out here. Bounty representing one Gibson. Janzik also representing And Matthew Johnson, another one of the Camrys out on the track side things. Meanwhile, the rest dominated by the Fords and the Chevys. And speaking of Bill Ford, four tough machines here, the number 22, the Maple Moxie man himself, and the Moxie 22 is Steve Clegg. He is currently at a little bit of a fever pitch fight here with the U.S. Air Force number 10 as Brad Patton looks to kind of corner off and distance himself around the track. He started way back in the back there, started 8 spots back. He is firing hard on all cylinders though. Bringing everything he's got to the name and bringing it down to face value. With even Grant Enfinger in the 98 even having a little bit of a go around here. Grant's been known to really make a few changes, a few heads up on these tracks here, and he's definitely making it work right now. Really just kind of firing off his own game plan, his own strategy here, and hoping maybe he can get a few on these guys. Trying to take down Christopher Wilcox, the 53, the Chick-fil-A 153 machine. Wilcox, he's been one of those guys that go out there and you watch him race it out, and he certainly can put up a fight, put on a show, but as of late, he's been kind of tamed back a little bit since that win back at Daytona. He got it from the Truck Series division at least, but really was all over the place when it came to really being top spot to middle of the road to just going back to the top spot again. Told me earlier he's been trying to get something figured out to where he can even that out a little bit, but it's been extremely difficult considering that what he's got in store, what he has to take down on the track. 18 of 130 completed right now here. The field's still charging their way around the track here. Everybody looking for opportunities to strike and everywhere to swing in and hit up. Like I said before, Newton, Iowa Speedway, very much so a multi-group track. Drivers like to run outside, drivers like to run the bottom. You can run the middle a little bit too. Most will say though, if you run outside, you best have to watch yourself on the speed because the outside banking can get a little tricky down there. Whereas inside runs, they make for an extremely unique situation where you can really dive hard and really drive in quickly. And may I add, it's the one track other than North Wilkesboro Speedway that NASCAR apparently seems to have forgotten because we've never gotten a Cup Series date with this track, thank you very much. But thankfully we've got an Experience Series and Truck Series dates here, so we can't complain too much, I guess. But come on guys, how do we not have a Cup Series date on this track already? Give us a Cup Series date, please. Anyway, that's my little rant for NASCAR here. Coming off down for turn number 4 here. Triple Trey came to play Whitehead. Started as your number 1 qualifier. Kind of put himself back in the back here about in 7th place position. I'm not sure. Maybe he's having some troubles down there getting the car to really work a way around the track as he was hoping for. Or maybe there was something else going down, but his speed's not quite there at the moment. A little bit slow in and through. On board is Andy Fan Craig Janzik here as he continues to dive himself in between a few spots. Charging hard and mounting up a few good positions. Hanging in through the positions in the zones here so far and getting himself a nice little time or two around this place. On board also with James and Marauder Harriser and the 4 as he continues to dive down a little bit. Also, race fans, just a heads up, you're probably wondering, home, hey, wait a minute, did we do anything to the inside of that cockpit view? No, we did not, just for the record. There was an update earlier this morning here that we actually got on our end for the iRacing service. So what it does is I believe it actually changed up a few of the Cup Series layouts where now the way the driver's seating position is and all that has actually changed a little bit. I did not personally do that. I usually don't even change that stuff when I'm in the car. Although I've been told by the POV police a lot of times I need to do that sooner or later. I'm like, well, I broadcast, so I tend not to worry about that. Kind of go with the flow and kind of go with what we got because then we got enough camera angles around here to really give us a little haymaker or two. Speaking of haymakers right now, Hawkins looking to throw a haymaker right down at his teammate in the Champion Power Equipment number 3, the Randall Fulks machine, trying to keep himself ahead of his teammate in that Blackstone Management Racing 83. Fulks kind of hanging on for dear life here because Hawkins got a much better runoff on a much more consistent basis. As we got trouble down there, unfortunately though, the 48 of George Young will come to a bit of a stop here. The NPR Racing boys are just going to have a little bit more of a workaround here. More trouble down there for them. Look like we're keeping it pretty good and pretty clean, but something unfortunately goes wrong here. Let's take a look at it. Presented by Champion Power Equipment. Let's have a look at this one. Well, they got them all packed up and in the slot here. And, oh, Givens getting a piece of Clegg, and next thing you know, Young got tagged in. And looks like he was trying to go into pit road or something and ends up getting a piece there from the number 44. I believe that was Matthew Johnson that got kind of clipped in there. We'll take one more look at it here, and we'll see from Givens' side of things what really went down here. You can see there's just a little slowdown from Clegg, and that's where everyone got all kind of topsy-turmoiled and a little lopsided. Drivers heading into pit road right now, so we will go ahead and let them get settled away. When we come back, though, we'll have a little talk with a couple of them and see what they will have to do in order to bring the heat and bring the pain here down on Pete's Race TV. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you in part by our good friends over at Champion Power Equipment. You guys need the right tools for the right job. There is only one brand name that we are trusted in. And then, of course, there's our good friends over at Champion Power Equipment. Be sure to check them out on their website at championpowerequipment.com. Check out their latest power generators, their merchandise line as well. And check out all their latest tools and products you need for your next job and outing. Champion Power Equipment, thank you for your support. And we certainly I believe the Fast and Fun Cup Series cannot thank you guys enough for everything as well. Take a listen in right now here. We'll go through the field, kind of charge our way around the track. I mentioned earlier on about Christian Wilcox. Well, I think it's a better time than anything to kind of bring his name into the hat. See if we can bring him in now. There we go. We got him with 3 Wide Motorsports here. Race fans, here he is now. Christian Wilcox and the number 53 Chick-fil-A One Machine. And Wilcox, you know, qualifying wise, maybe not been the best end for you, unfortunately. Had to start from the 15th end, moving down to 20th. What's going on down there on the track with you in the car?
I am playing the long game. I'm trying to figure out how to manage tires, as well as just kind of tracking the pace of the field in general. I'm not too worried about finishing in the top 10. I think I'll be there in the end, and I'm starting to see how far I can push it on a long run. So we'll be there at the end. Don't worry.
Well, I appreciate your time there, Christian. We'll see what happens down there with you and the team.
Thank you.
For DUI Motorsports, ladies and gentlemen, Christian Wilcox on the call. We'll have to listen in as we go throughout the field and throughout this charge. Have a listen in here. Old Brockhead, Brock Whitehead from Oval Sim Performance now. He joins me now in the booth here. And Brockhead, definitely a interesting scheme color you got going on. What's going on with this little scheme tonight?
Oh, it's all a joke that my dad and James did. My dad got James to make me a paint because my dad always buys all my sim stuff, and James didn't think I'd run it, so I guess I proved him wrong.
Well, you proved him wrong, and you're putting it up on Pete's Race TV for the first time. I must say, it is an interesting one, but I gotta ask you this. I mean, what's it gonna take to get this thing into the fight?
Saving tires, really. Looks like a bunch of guys up front are burning their tires really fast. My right front there was at 90, so I think I can push it just a little harder. And gonna try and stay out of the wrecks if there's any in front of me, and just hope for people to burn their tires up.
I appreciate your time here, Brockhead.
Yep, thank you.
Brock Whitehead, ladies and gentlemen, the number 82 driver, continuing to pace himself around, looking to maybe make a showing for himself and the crew, as we're about ready to get the drivers back on to the initial start. Why didn't they go this time by? 30 down, 100 to go. So that's pretty easy math, I would say. I mean, that's not exactly the Crusader mathematicals here, or Crusader calculations. But that's okay, because really I never need to bust out that old joke, and I never need to bust out anything else here like that. So as we're getting ready to get back to the action, though, currently Eli the Wild Childs, local Illinois native, also an Iowa driver now. He kind of transferred over and now representing here for his Champion Power Equipment number 9 Ford Mustang. As you can see, that big red stint on the top of his windshield visor, that represents that he is in the Champion Power Equipment hunt for the championship. The playoffs have brought a lot of these drivers to their game plans and their playing fields and really made them test for all it's worth. Now they're going to have to figure out if they can hang on just a little bit more, as we're about to bring the drivers back on to the start. Get the green flag back on now. Here, our flagman waves it high in the air, and it's trying to charge. Bar Alonso down the 77, making him dive in down off of turn 2, making a good jump in between here to Boyd Hagen. As his teammate, the Marauder, James Earth, right on the outside, trying to keep himself out of control, out of this bad situation here. On a fresh set of tires, you've got to really watch it out here because these things will burn up quick and they will get you into a lot of trouble. They're very well aware of that and very well of the circumstances and trouble that can bring to the table. For the Rusty Motorsports crew right now, the number 21, Steven Gibson, one of the top players here, working with his crew and working with this team to try to maybe find a line, find a groove, and hang in there with this ground racing crew. The 91 Kevin Schur now even making a little bit of a headway here, a little bit of a stance, and even the Man Beasley Man Jr., who we saw earlier on Sunday night, actually racing down here with the pedal to the metal racing league crew for the first time and almost walking away finally with that first win here on the show. He's come so close yet so far, and I still even wonder how many more times can he be the bridesmaid before that old joke finally gets destroyed and it's on. Aboard there with Kevin Kursuri, you can hear his throttle rhythm, kind of see his throttle control of the and also his hand movements down on the steering wheel. Keeping a close eye on every little detail, every little spot. He does not want to let up too soon, too quickly. Wants to keep it nice and under control and keep himself in a very even playing field. Kevin Ward, the 112 machine, representing tonight as well. Trying to make himself a little bit more of a fight, a little bit of a fighter, a little bit more of a runner. He had a lot of problems last time out, as we saw here on Pete Racing TV here at the Fast Fun Green Mountain Grill Series. Had a little bit of trouble holding the truck line down and holding the vehicles in place and in shut motion. That does not seem to be the case here so far anyway, but again, it is early, so we'll have to see if maybe he can move a few chains and move a few spots in. I know the weather right now here in Iowa not exactly the most comforting and warm. Thankfully on the racing service, we don't really need to worry about that. They kind of turn the heater up a little bit, and thankfully the track is about as good as it gets for racing, if you ask me. Still is a huge tire burner and still can really put some drivers to their test and their limits. But hey, at the end of the day, it still works out pretty good. Brad Patton, the number 10 right now, trying to muscle his way up ahead of Triple Trey, came to play Whitehead, while the 12 of Kyle Holden, representing for the whole nation right now. He is holding on, he's holding the line down and playing a little Toto in that car right now. He's got Lorenzo and Harris right up ahead of him here, as the 2-3 wide Motorsports teammates try to keep their distances and try to social their way up to the front. Keeping themselves in check and keeping themselves online. And speaking of online, watch out for a Blaster Master when he comes to town. The Mullet Man OnlyFans, Robert Lawrence in the 34, looking to maybe make a fight here in a bit of a bidding at Randall Folks. Earlier on, we saw Hagen make a little bit of a jump at him, make a little bit of a look into that corner, but it did not work out the way he was hoping for. Now Lawrence looking to try to do it here, but you can see Lawrence running a much different line than Folks. Folks running the preferred speed line, as we like to refer to it, the one that gets you the most speed, the most control. It's the fastest line of the bunch. However, Lawrence running a bit of a different sketchy area here. It looks like he's trying to kind of move in the middle and use that run to keep the tires from burning up too quickly and actually staying more in charge here with the 3F Randall Folks. But I think also he's keeping it kind of blocking in for Hagen, because Hagen right now, if he can get away to that inside line, he then has to find a way around the 34, and it's very difficult to make a pass without driving up a little bit off of 2 and 4. Jennifer Velquez coming on board saying, cheering on number 77 Lorenzo, and William McNair saying, hi ho, hi, how's it going? Well, so far so good, my friend, and good to have you back on board. It's been a while since we heard from you, so good to have you back on the field. Lorenzo looking to try to hang on there with Harris, but you can saw there Patton. He drove that thing in pretty quick, very similar to what we saw earlier with Givens and Clegg. Bumpers will be put to the test here when you're on a short track like this, and that certainly is not any different than what we're doing right now. Tyler makes race at the moment as well, looking to maybe make a little bit of a charge, a little bit of a fight zone here. He's up one spot, started 11th, currently in 10th. As he looks to get back at it with Triple Trey. Came to play Whitehead, had a little bit of a corner distance in there as well. Didn't quite catch him though in that area and then playing field. On board here with Wild Shots and still loving that in memory of Hannah and Cash, little helmet he's got going on. He's always had that scheme kind of popping up from time to time, but still it's pretty awesome to see nevertheless, as we've got a caution now for Matthew Johnson, the number 44. Got a bit of a maple leaf kind of color scheme going on there with that 44, although it's not the Canadian maple leaf. It's some leaves though. I mean, it is fall time, so I mean, I'll give him that. Here's 15 minutes of replay though. Let's find out what happened here. Looks like Ward, ooh. I would say that might be a little bit of that dirty word that we know as NC, if you know what I mean. But unfortunately, I think more or less the Glitch Graphic Gremlins might have caught the 44 just barely, as Kevin Ward was having a little bit of a problem getting it straightened back out on the track there. Field will pace their way back on the shot and on the shots here. Let's take a listen now and talk to some of our guys up ahead here in the field. I'm trying not to get my broadcaster curse out to just anybody, but I mean, there's one thing I can't seem to do. It's find a way to curse the Zany fan, because he always has a run on the top side. So, Jantic, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Having runs on the top side. You nailed it, man. What's going on? How's your Tuesday been to you?
That's been pretty good. I mean, work wasn't too bad, and now here I'm on my other job, which I appreciate and love to do. So, I'll have to ask you this real quick. Right at the moment, you were kind of charging pretty quick there up to the front, but you were seemingly kind of backing off a little bit. Are you not trying to run too hard at these guys at the moment?
Yeah, I wasn't personally happy with my wear figure and temperature after the first run, so I wanted to push pretty hard to get either, to get as far forward as I could there right at the restart, and then settle in, and that's exactly what I was able to do. And I don't know if James is doing the same thing. I don't know if Lorenzo is doing the same thing. I know that fixed sets are not their forte, so I am trying to really capitalize on that for team points reasons, and of course for next week being a cutoff race to get into the championship for us. So got to be really mindful of these things. I'm thankful that I come in here as the 1 seed, because that does give me a little bit of leverage after our great finish at Talladega last week. But I know that there's a lot of laps yet to go, and we just had a couple of fast guys take off strategy there. I know Brad pitted, and I know he'll be ripping right through the field. So there are definitely some asterisks yet to till we get to the end of this race, but man, I'm excited for it.
For sure there, and Jantic, well, nevertheless, the Elite Performance Industries 40 certainly has a little bit of work to do and plenty of time to be had it with it, so we'll let you get back down the track and talk with the boys.
Yeah, 10-4, man. Thanks. Good to hear from you.
Good to hear from you as well. Does any fan, ladies and gentlemen, Craig Jantic at number 40 having a little talking to there with us. Let's take it down now and talk with one of our other guys we know all too well here. It's been a while since we've heard from him, but Steve Clegg is in our pack and in our hunt, so let's take it down with Team Dump and Run, give maybe some insight here from him as we join now with the 22. Steve, I know right now you had a little bit of that little fender bender there, a little bump and tag there from Givens, but it seems like the car is still in pretty one piece and one shot. But how's the team right now holding up, and you feel like you're going to be doing here on this next go around?
Yeah, that wasn't too much damage on that. It was only 10 seconds of repairs, nothing bad. It's so hard to pass. If the guy's running on the high line, hard to make it stick on the bottom, so the guy in front of you is running the high line, you kind of get stuck behind him for a while.
In a way, though, does that make it a little bit more racy for Iowa, or do you think it just makes it a little more difficult to kind of win off of?
It's a little bit more frustrating. If you get stuck behind somebody that you feel like you're a little bit faster, you kind of have to wait for him to maybe move down or maybe just send it in there and slide up on him.
Well, I mean, that is kind of the verbiage for a short track racing style. So, I mean, you know what you can do. You do have some vendors and benders on them things. So, just a heads up.
Yeah, I'll use them eventually.
All right. Well, Steve, we appreciate coming on board, man. Best of luck here as we continue on with this one.
All right, thank you.
Stephen Clegg, ladies and gentlemen, number 22, driver continuing to keep his maple moxie in check and keep himself in one piece at least. How long that will last, we have no idea. As you know, this is a short track, and again, we got over 2 tons of a car here that's running out on a track like this. there is certainly a lot that can be desired and a lot that can be made in this case. We'll be at lap 50 with about 80 to go remaining now, almost near the halfway point. Field ready to work their way around, do their thing, let the magic be had, and let the drivers take it out on the track. Falks, Lawrence, Hagen, Janzik, Eris, Lorenzo, round out your top 3 rows and your field of 6. We'll bring him off out of turn number 4. A little bit of movement there coming off the end of that start, and it looked like Hagen looked for an opening or two there out of the gate. I'm not sure if that was exactly a legal move, but he got a great move off on Lawrence, though. Looked like from my end, maybe Lawrence mistimed his shift and mistimed his gear, and Falks kind of worked with Hagen to say, hey man, we're going at this time in this area. That's radio command and control there for you. That's what makes teams events really hard to really take down and take away from. But a great move nevertheless from the Blackstone Management Racing Team as Falks and Hagen hang in there, while Lawrence now says, well, I may have messed up my start, but that doesn't mean I messed up this end of the track. Here he comes down the back straightaway, managing to hold the outside. And just like Clegg said earlier, and even I referenced, it's point blank. If you can get the outside to work, you can hang on up there and actually keep the bottom lane from getting too much runoff. It forces drivers to really have to figure out how to make a maneuver around and make a turn or two off. It makes for a hard race, and it makes for some clear-cut moments here. We've seen some major bump and runs and some drivers get their feelings hurt on short tracks, and this is certainly one of them. Robert Dudley saying, "What's up?" in the chat tonight. Robert, good to have you on board, sir. It's been a while since we heard from you. Right out on the front straightaway, though, here. Kyle Holden moving the chains, moving it in. Jason Taylor still with it. Trying to keep his Remington Ford Mustang at least somewhat in peace. He has a little bit of damage there on the car. Not too bad, though, at least. So, you know, he's already kind of changing his chain, changing his coon up. Coming right around, though. Oh, trouble here for Sheldon Pearson, the 8, stopping it dead on arrival here in the middle of turn 3 and 4. Caution lights are on. Let's take a look at the replay here. I'm not really sure what transpired here for the number 8 driver, but if I had to guess, he probably found himself in a little bit of a panic situation here. Looks like he heard earlier from James Patton was going to come through the field. And looks like, yeah, he just kind of lifts up slightly, got into the 8. Pearson backs off, gets it slowed down. Everyone doing a great job driving around him. But unfortunately for the PM and Sons, he is going to be taken for a little bit of a trip to the Shadow Realm. And I don't know exactly if he wanted to visit it there so quickly. Yeah, from that angle there, you can see the Glitchcraft and Gremlins certainly had their way with the 8, unfortunately. That's a tough break there for both drivers involved. That's certainly just not what you want to see from anybody's perspective, but that is kind of the risk we run in the virtual world, so. We'll take it down now and talk with some of our other guys here, moving through the chains, moving through the field. We'll see here. Our next up on our list will be, of course, the Man Beast, William Mann Jr., representing for 3Y Motorsports, and the man that raises hell and prays steel joins us back here once again. William, how you doing, bud?
How's it going, man?
Pretty good. Well, the last 2 days certainly have been eventful. It's extremely close finish, second place Sunday night, then a battle really amongst yourself and everyone else in the Truck Series. Now you're down here at Iowa Speedway, trying to hang in here on this the world's fastest short track. I mean, give me your thoughts on this one right now.
Well, I figured I'd come through town, plow some corn, see what we can do about getting a good finish here. We got this race and next week for the Final Four. Try to get in there and make some noise and see if we can't steal us a championship from the boys up there.
You've come close before in the championship race to actually stealing a win off some of these guys. I mean, if you can get in that top 4, I mean, what a way to kind of pull a Daniel Hemmick around here and get a championship and your first win on Pete Race TV, if that comes to be.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid that Chris Shriver curse. Every time I'm on a broadcast, I'm always like, "Don't talk to me. I feel like I'm never gonna win if you do." But I don't believe in that luck crap anyway, man. I'm just having a good time, trying to turn some laps and avoid some of this mess, and be there at the end to try to make some quick dives and save what I got left of this car left.
You know, I was going to tell you that the Chris Shriver curse is a lot worse than a broadcaster curse. I mean, if you wanted to call it that, I mean, it probably makes sense after all the bad luck I've been giving you, so.
Well, like I said before, man, I don't really believe in luck or karma because luck and karma owe me a lot. I got a list and I keep mailing them just like Santa, and I ain't heard nothing back yet. So I'm just gonna do what I know the best I can do and see what we can do tonight.
Thanks for your time, man, Beast.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Oh man, I thought Thacker was something else on the mic there. I think William Mann Jr. might be something else here. Alright, race fans, we're getting ready to get back down to green flag action here in Champion Power Equipment's Cup Series. The Fast and Fun Cup Series to be exact. Trying to hang on, trying to make a little bit more noise here. Randall Fox and Robert Lawrence will be back at it once again. Both drivers out of the playoff hunt, at least. Fox really wasn't even there to begin with. He just kind of wanted to come out here and put on a little show for him and his fans and his crew. And he always seems to come out here and really race with a tough game and a tough game plan on everyone that really a lot of folks either cannot figure out or they don't figure it out in time. And right now at this moment here as we lead them off of turns 3 and 4, the mullet man Robert Lawrence is looking to do just that and perfect his strategy and continue on with this striking madness here. Off the restart zone, back to the green. Janzik making a bit of a move or two. The big moves of doom coming up for the number 40. He will be the man to beat as he looks to pilot this thing up into the top spot for the playoff fixture. The 83 of Boyd Hagen, though, is not too far off. I kind of correct myself. There is one Blackstone Management Racing team member in this hunt. And Boyd Hagen right now representing it well with the 83. No Cale Gale in this one, or no other Grant Infinger in this fight, but it is Boyd Hagen putting on a little bit of a show, putting on a little bit of a fight here as he tries to take down the Zanny Fan Great Janzik. Got really one of his own game plans here. Everyone wants to make it to the championship hunt come after next week. We have only 2 races left. This one in the championship, in the big battle for the Final 4 cutoff, as you've heard earlier on from these drivers. It is anybody's game, it's anybody's race to make it into the biggest of stages here. And that really will play down at Auto Club Speedway here in just a short amount of time on PT Racing TV. And I guarantee you one thing, these drivers have been ready and waiting for every single day, every single moment to come up to that time and come into this place. The man beast right now knows his championship hunt is in jeopardy if he doesn't fight it out a little bit here with Kyle Holden. Holden trying to hold him down off the bottom end here of turn 4. And Holden strengthening the run, strengthening himself in the fight. Trying to keep that speed demon set up. Spelt number 12 in the runoff zone, continuing to charge up ahead, while Steven Gibson, another one of the guys here representing for Rusty Motorsports, looking to just make a bit of a head scratching steal of the show and maybe upset a few drivers today. The man beast William Mann Jr. struggling with what we heard earlier on from Steve Clegg, which is just trying to find a way to pass on this track or trying to find an opening to hit up from. It's so difficult to do because, again, you got guys that are going up top, you got guys that are going on the bottom, they're trying to drive them in harder, trying to drive them in closer. There's a lot of angles you can run in Iowa, but the problem is if you don't have a car that's not willing to put up a little fight or put on a little bit of a show there, it's not a whole lot of ways around it. If you ask me, the best way to make a pass around here that's a textbook pass is obviously to kind of pull the Intimidator style move, which is basically to get right up to the rear end of somebody and make them think about it, make them question it, whether or not they should break in so easily, and then drive on hard off the bottom end and take it away from them, or go up high side, take it away quickly. It's seen it before where even some drivers will try to put a bump or two in the back of the rear end on the back straightaway and get them a little slightly loose as they enter into the turn. And it actually makes for an impressive little display of raw power and a little bump and run action. So old school and new school here. Rodney Christensen joins in saying good racing on a good track. Yes, sir. Number 10 of Brad Patton right now looking to keep his distance, keep himself in check here as he continues to keep the U.S. Air Force. I can't call it the afterburner because that's a different scheme, but I think I could call this kind of the U.S. Air Force battalion, if you will. Here. It's not an airborne ranger. Well, I can't really call that either. I'm trying to. All right, so those at home that know U.S. Air Force, give me a term or two. Give me a term or a name on those planes and jets. Maybe you can help me out with, because I'm not for sure. all the military stuff down there, and this is coming from a guy that's from a military family, so I apologize to all my military bloodline. I know my great-grandpa's probably rolling in his grave thinking, this boy don't know anything about the Air Force. For crying out loud, I taught this boy stuff from the Marine Corps and the U.S. Army. How does he not know? I'm sorry, great-grandpa. I'm sorry, but I said I was a broadcaster. I didn't say I was a Marine guy. I'm sorry. Or a military guy, I should say. Well, back to the action right now. Steve Gibson here kind of being the blocker of all that is encompassing here. These guys right now, you got 5 or 6 drivers that are just kind of in a bit of a bad rut, bad spot here. Trying to find an opening, trying to find an area to get around. As we go on board with one of the reigning defending champions right now, Eli the Wild Child. This is kind of surprising for me, honestly, to watch him go out here and struggle the way he is. Because usually on the Iowa Speedway, he's pretty good about taming the track down and kind of taming his field in. I don't know if he is trying to go for a longer run setup here or if he is just kind of off the pace and off the stead here. You saw him turn in pretty hard there compared to some of the other guys maybe here. We go a little bit of 3 wide salute action off of turn number 2. Will Cox, Man Beast, Wayman Jr., as well as Sean Bounty all in that little playing field. Oh, a little bit of a tag there from Kyle Holden. Gets into Kevin Kashur and the 9 of Eli Childs. Oh my, that was a wild little situation there. You saw it literally perfectly timed out on our camera angle here. Damage bad on the 91 there. A little side skirt destruction on the 9. Both cars taken for quite a bit of a destroyed machinery, and unfortunately the same has to be said for the 12, and I know the Holden Nation's not going to be too happy about this one. Everything looked pretty clean here off of 2, but here's what happened in 3. You can see Holden kind of clipping the 53 just a little bit of his wings, and Wilcox had nowhere to go, and then bam, that shot there from Ward. Ouch. Ward got every single piece of that 12 of Kyle Holden. He took a huge hit, to say the least, getting a tow right now back to pit lane, and honestly, he's probably going to need a little bit more than that. He's going to need an instant repair, which they are allowed to down there tonight, so be aware of that. Well, drivers are going back to the pit road. We'll cut off to a quick commercial break as Sean Bounty and Brad Patton, they'll be the ones staying on out. Can these drivers figure out their strategy and take this one to the pit, take this one to the bank? Find out when we return. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's race has been brought to you in part by our good friends over at Champion Power Equipment. When you guys need the right tools and the power generators for the right job and time and need, there is only one brand name that we have trusted in, and that is, of course, with our friends at Champion Power Equipment. Be sure to check them out on their social media platforms at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Social media outlets down as well in the links description down below as well. Head over to their website at championpowerequipment.com and make sure you find yourself the right tools and next power generator for your needs and your time. Thank you again to Champion Power Equipment for everything. Well, at the moment right now, Sean Bounty, Brad Patton, they stayed on out, but there's Andy Pham, Craig Janzik, and then weren't too keen on that and decided they wanted to have a little bit of a go-around or two with this. We'll see what happens here as we continue to march our way through the ends and through the spectrums. It's time to talk with one of our other guys down here. We're going to bring in another Oval Sim Performance driver, the man himself, Robert Lawrence. Now about to come in here with us on the number 34. And Robert, good to hear from you again, sir. And right at this moment, you had a pretty good little showcase there between the guys up front there with Falks and even Hagen. What was going through your mind there when you were fighting them out a little bit?
Oh, I mean, I had my line that was keeping up and competitive with them. I just probably ended up burning up my tires a little bit too much, fighting too hard. I should have just chilled out, let the race progress. But ended up getting those couple cautions, and now we're back here, screwed up, sped on the exit pit road, so now I get to fight my way through everyone. So we'll see what happens. Probably end up wrecked, but we'll see.
Well, I mean, that's why we kind of brought you in now, so that way if you run your way to the gauntlet, at least you know you can't blame it on the broadcaster first, so.
Yeah, no, I still got my fast repairs. I'm still a lot faster than most everyone here, so I'll just have to drive through everyone. So.
For sure there. All
See
right.
what happens.
All right, Lawrence. Well, we appreciate your time, man. We'll see what the Blaster Master brings to the table.
Yeah, thank you.
Number 34, Robert Lawrence, and judging by that sound and his reaction, I don't think he was too keen on hearing from us there. I don't really blame him, honestly. I mean, I would not really want to be talking too much when the race is kind of going on, but I mean, at the same time, I mean, that's just kind of our job. We gotta get these guys a little bit of a workaround or two. And speaking of a workaround too, let's head down to Rusty Motorsports and the number 21, Stephen Gibson. Stephen, you really have been kind of one of the brighter spots here for Rusty Motorsports. And kind of been a helping hand there as Kyle Holden, unfortunately, gets caught up in that madness. What'd you see? What happened to all out?
I really don't know what happened to him. I was in front of him, so I don't really know. I think he accidentally bumped Wilcox, just tried to get on the brakes a little bit, just to, you know, give him a little bit of room, and then he got spun out on accident. I mean, he'll come back. I mean, hopefully he'll be able to make it through the next round of the playoffs. I don't know what the point situation is right now, but, you know, just trying to race and have fun, stay clean, not wreck anybody out of the playoffs.
For sure there. Now, I'll have to ask you this here. I mean, you got a couple of big guys up here like Falks and even Jason Taylor and Tyler Meese. I mean, what's going to be to kind of hang in with those guys?
Just going to be saving my tires. I just got to make sure I just don't wear them out.
For sure there. All right. Well, Gibson, appreciate you coming on board, bud. Best of luck as you return to the boys.
All right. Thank you, man.
For Rusty Motorsports, ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Gibson, the number 21. We'll pace him off out of turn number 4 this time by. Pace truck is off. And John Bounty will have his start on the outside. Brad Patton will try to work with him on the inside zone as well. Off our restart zone. Here we go. Back to the fight. This is going to be very telling. We're already past halfway. We're in now kind of a bit of a rut, a bit of a situation that burns through the field and burns through the trackside. This can be a very big handful for some drivers. This could be a very tough competition for others out here. We'll see what they bring to the table on both ends. Brian Lorenzo right now trying to hang in there with Boyd Hagen and trying to keep his championship hunt and hopes alive here. Remember, only 4 advance to the main race at Auto Club Speedway. So really, if you want to be on the top of that roster and be on the top of the playing field, you better make sure these cars are set in motion and set in stone. Speaking of set in motion and set in stone, Bounty way off target, way off pace. Car taking too much of a beating on the tires, and now it's a Zanny fan, Craig Janzik, who finds himself up ahead. The Elite Performance Industries, number 40, is their new leader. But behind him is a pack of hungry wolves on the prowl, and no, they do not burrow their head in the sand on Groundhog Day like they do here in Iowa. No, they are literally marching through the track and marching to the field as the caution flies back on out. Unfortunately, the 15 of Jason Taylor stops at dead end the grassy plains. Taylor, we do know that we had actually got those grasslands kind of mowed this morning, right? We did actually went down there and did it myself before I got and had to race my other little league race I have coming before this race. So let's take a look at what happened here, though. Looked like he just kind of got a bit of a bad spot, a bit of a bad rut here. This is where that cold tire set and that little hard runoff can do for you. Actually, he clips into the 98 there of Enfinger, and Enfinger, great job holding his line down. Unfortunately, though, for Taylor, he was the one that was in the wrong end of that turn. Gets everyone re-racked and restacked to put back on the attack here. We'll see and listen in as this night progresses on what really lays ahead and what comes down for these drivers. But for one guy in particular, unfortunately, it has not been too kind to him or his team. And that certainly has to be the case here for our number 48 driver, George Young. And George, good to have you back on the show, but I don't think this was exactly what you were expecting here today. This has been a bit of a wild one tonight, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Started off a little rough there, but, you know, as usual, hanging in there. Got that lap back, and we'll see what we can fight for at the end here.
You had to make a bit of a trip from PA to IEA. I mean, how was the weather down there from PA, just trying to get into the colder climate down here in Iowa?
Oh, well, it's not much different, man. It is freezing in PA, so not a whole lot different. Not much of an improvement.
Well, I mean, at least I'm up here in my cozy, warm area here in the booth down here. But, I mean, at the end of the day, works all good for us Iowans here. That's our thing, so thank you for Well, thank you for your time here, George, and we'll see you maybe come next week. Maybe things can look a little bit better for you and the crew of the NPR
Hopefully it
boys.
does. Yes, sir. Thank you.
George Young, ladies and gentlemen, the number 48 driver, trying to showcase a little bit of his skill, a little bit of his luck here on the track. Couldn't quite keep himself out of trouble, though, unfortunately. Some of our other drivers right now trying to just hang in there and trying to give themselves a bit of a fighting chance. I know Matthew Johnson certainly is one of them here. Let's listen in with him now as he comes on board here from Musty Motorsports. Ladies and gentlemen, number 44, Matthew Johnson now coming on board with me here. And Matthew, I know been a little earlier on, you kind of got bit by some of the cautions and you got kind of bit by some of the other drivers. I mean, but at least the car is still hanging in there at least.
The most unfortunate luck this evening, for certain. You know, just getting caught, someone coming across the track trying to make it to the pit in a sort of perpendicular angle. And yeah, somebody kind of lost it and got into me. You know, just unfortunate racing incidents that happen when you're on the racetrack. Got to live with it, got to ride with it. In 21st, see if we'll go forward, probably go backwards. Just here to have fun.
I mean, at the end of the day, it is Iowa Speedway, so it is a short track. So I mean, it can be a little bit of a grind here at times. But hey, I mean, you're still hanging in there, you're still racing out. So commence for you that, my friend. But nevertheless, appreciate your time here. We'll see what happens here later on this season for the Rusty Motorsports crew.
Oh, thank you very much. You have a great evening now.
You too, bud. Matthew Johnson, ladies and gentlemen, the number 44 driver. As we get these guys fielded back in, we're going to be under the caution flights just a little bit longer. Now you're probably wondering at home, why am I trying to avoid some of the guys up top? Well, again, this championship hunt is extremely important and extremely conservative to these guys. So guys like Lorenzo and Harris, I'm trying to avoid them at all possible. And I was given fair warning from Childs, if I ever bring him back in, I will never get any more lemonade iced teas. So as much as I love my Steven Tyler Plus lemonade stand iced teas, I am not gonna in my lifetime try to mess with a good vodka lemonade drink here, so just be aware I do not mess with that stuff. One lap to green now. Pace lights are off on the pace truck. Our field of drivers looking to try to bring this one into the playing field and back into the fight. Everybody looking to give themselves a chance, get themselves a shake-up here or two. So much going on here right now in the Facebook Live section. If you've enjoyed the show here, those that are new, like to follow us up here. If you're on the YouTube side of things, never been here before, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel there. We have exclusive live broadcasts as well that you will not see anywhere else until later on. So be sure to check that out and check out all our local deals and our local broadcasts. And we've got a whole laundry list of races coming up, including, I'm not wanting to spoil anything, but do you guys remember a little update we got with some Hyundais and some Hondas? I've got something special coming up for you Sunday night on the dirt side of things, so stay tuned for that as we bring the drivers back to the green. Janzik, well, dude, they literally look like a bat out of hell. Look like I'm not sure if that's the same bat that Ozzy Osbourne bit and he just ran away with it, because Janzik just completely tore this track a new one and ran off with this flag. Hogan trying to hunt him down. Lorenzo and Harris trying to get right back at him there as Patton. I don't know how the heck this guy can just wheel this thing up as hard as he can, but he is giving this one a full throttle assault treatment tonight. My, he is wheeling and dealing and making this one play and feeling. He's got the 33 at Whitehead yet again. I don't know how many times I've said that tonight. You might as well make that a bit of a drinking game, because he's just been on his toes and on his game all day long and just been pushing it right up there in the top 5. And speaking of pushing the top 5, here comes a beautiful drive down, crossover, top side of the bottom. Wow, Fox just made the 33 Whitehead literally lose time and lose patience. He didn't even know where he came from, so it's too little too late. Fox is on a mission. He's on a manhunt, and he's coming for his Andy fan, Craig Janzik. Harris right now trying to dive off and trying to give himself some breathing room, trying to keep himself at least somewhat under control and watch his tempo. He knows he doesn't want to burn the tires up too quick. He doesn't want to get too out of control and too out of shape here. Grant Enfinger with a slight mishap there off the corner end. Looks like he might have to back it down slightly here as a 29 of the Man Beast, William Mann Jr. putting on a show and putting on a bit of a run here despite a little bit of damage, looks like on that front end of his. Might just be the way his front end looks, I'm not too sure. Uh-oh, trouble down there for the Mullet Man and Mr. Ward in the 112. What bad luck and unfortunate timing here. And when you look at that lap counter too, we're getting pretty close to a bit of a head scratch here on who's going to be running it hard and running it quickly. Let's take a look at what happened to the 112 of Kevin Ward. It looks like Kevin Cresseur and him might have collided off of turn 4 on the front stretch. And looks like Kevin got a piece of Kevin and goes into the Mullet Man. And the Blue Angels 112 really nowhere to go and nowhere to get out of, and unfortunately just gets the tag there and takes the Mullet Man Blaster Master with him. We called him the Blaster Master, not the Master of Disaster, for a reason. Unfortunately, he seems to find himself in every which way of a disaster every time he comes out on this track. Well, time to take a listen in here. Some of our other guys we don't usually hear too often from. From Go Fast Motorsports, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome in Mr. Charles Whitehead. Now, Whitehead, it's been a while since we've heard from you, but since you're kind of riding down in the back here, we're trying to avoid the guys up front. Thought we'd give you a little bit of love there, bud.
Appreciate it.
So, right at the moment here, I know you've been trying to avoid your Paul Tracy situations and circumstances there, but you still have been at least kind of in keeping a good distance, a good run off of these guys, and it seems like the car has been picking up some speed as of late. Is there something you've been doing differently that may be making it up for that?
Yeah, just going in the corners a lot easier and slowly on the gas on the outside, going out, exiting, and trying to stay out of trouble.
For sure there. Now, I know definitely looking to bring in some more strengths and weaknesses out on the track in the zone. What do you say about next season when you get to it?
Hopefully I'm a lot better and I can actually run with these guys. If we go to the Gen 7 cars, I'll definitely be better than be up top.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless though, bud, we appreciate you coming on board, and we'll listen in and keep an eye on you as this race progresses through.
All right, appreciate it, Chris.
Waiting for Go Fast Motorsports here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Charles Whitehead. His teammates Tyler Meeks and Brad Patton pretty much side by side together in the field, and again, I'm avoiding anybody in that top 10. And no, I'm not going to bring Grant Enfinger in. We do not know if he wants to be left alone here. I only talked with us a top 3, so we're going to let him race and race it out. But I will say this, Enfinger, if you do wish to ever be brought in the broadcast when it's not too bad, just feel free to let me know. Feel free to let us know here on Pete's Race TV. We'll get you in. Same for Hagen and hey, well, we know Gale will like to be brought in every now and then. He doesn't mind that too much. Still, I remember him giving us that great words of advice and really teaching us more about these cars and what they feel like and what they do on the track. And that 550 horsepower package that they have with these cars in general certainly make for an extremely tough time and a bit of a go-around guessing game when it comes to hitting it up. Didn't forget to talk about this earlier, Tracy. She said, yeah, that was a bummer for sure. Got to make the playoffs now. She's talking about earlier on with Kyle Holden when he got into a bit of a scruffle there with Wilcox out 3 and 4. Ended up costing him a bit of a chance in the run there. But thankfully next week will determine their top 4 that go into the championship Power Equipment Cup Series playoff finale. And that race, by the way, you're going to be really watching for some short track racing madness there. We're going to Dover International Speedway. And you want to talk about a track that is going to give guys a lot of work and a lot of figuring out to do. You thought that making a pass here was hard? Oh no, Dover is a whole nother ball game in my opinion for that. So We'll find out, though. There's still plenty of time to be had and still plenty of race moments to get going. We're just about to approach the final 30 here, the dirty 30 as we like to call it. It'll be about lap 96. We let them refire them off. 35 laps will remain. And Craig Janzik on these restarts, he's been extremely tough to catch off and catch in. He's going to try to do the same again, but Hagen is no slouch on the throttle and no slouch on the momentum. He wants to gain ground and clearance and major point days for his playoff hopes and his championship hopes as well with the Blackstone Management Racing Team. Cale still out of action, unfortunately, here as he continues to run with the family and kind of help out with the kids and all that. Cale, if you are watching Doe on PT Race TV right now, we appreciate you, man, and hope to see you soon enough. Back to the green flag. We're going to get back to this one. Off the ends of the turn here. Driver's going to really get a little crazy, a little bit, piling him down on the ends. Look at Marauder. James Harris got out in the middle of all of it. 3 wide salute right in on turn 3. Trying to avoid the chaos here. Whitehead trying to hold it off the line. Meeks backs down. Let's Harris by. Patton with an advantage now. Getting the run on the outside here with his teammate. Patton is the one, though, that they got to watch out for. He is the guy with the playoff contention in mind. Actually, I take that back. Both guys actually out of the playoffs here, excuse me. So they're just kind of racing for themselves and racing for their own little stakes here. Man beats William Mann Jr. He is right now in the cups of being put on the bubble and put into a possible concluding phase of not being able to be the #1 guy going down in the championship races. Jantic, you heard him say earlier, the #1 seed going in. This will really ramp up his game and ramp up his chances to make another good bid at being the #1 seed going into the championship 4 in 2 weeks. The number 3 of Randall Fox continuing to hard charge his way around and make everything work to its fullest potential. Fox trying to hang on. Looking to knock down Hagen. Hagen right now continuing to fire him out down through the corners here, hanging in each little area, each little spot. He has not let off just yet. The single file car draft right now is really to give everyone a bit of a shake, a bit of a fair chance at just watching themselves and watching their turning. They know they've got to just kind of be aware of the corners, aware of the turns, because they know there could be trouble brewing ahead. Brock Whitehead trying to deal out with that 98 here of Infinger as Infinger continues to lay it thin and hit him up. Eli, the wild child, that 9 Champion Power Equipment Machine, gonna run it right back there with Kevin Crusher on the 91 Champion Power Equipment Machine. Both drivers struggling badly to avoid carnage or avoid the wreckage. And it's been a bit of a wild hassle for those guys here as they continue to pace this one down. Robert the Mullen Man Lawrence, if you want to talk about a guy that just caught himself a real bad luck and a bit of a bad, tough time here at Iowa Speedway, I think you got to give the award to him there. He was up top there with the 2 fastest runners and came up second in closest position in proximity. And then the next thing you know, it just completely went haywire and down the drain, all because of one small error out of pit road's exits. Bit of a hassle, bit of a scruffle here. Still, they hammered down with a 3 wide salute in between. Everyone trying to evade and trying to stay off that charge. You talk about wild racing and wild moments here. Everyone from the back to the front is completely in a story fever pitch dream right now. Hagen and Fox, though, looks like they finally have found something for Janzik. Janzik better watch out here. Janzik knows that if Hagen gets ahead of him, he may just very well take the #1 seed away from him. Hagen, though, he got real close to the outside wall. Not a mistake you usually see from a guy of his caliber. But that's the thing with Iowa Speedway. It's like a Darlington Raceway. It can be tough to tame and real tough to win on. It brings out the best and the brightest of all drivers here, and it's getting a piece of them right now. Triple Trey, he came to play Whitehead in the 33 right now, working his way down with the Oceanside cabinets in number 77 as they continue to face him on by. Lorenzo right now looking to defend his crown that he got from the Truck Series and somehow, some way find a way to go from trucks to Cup and win that championship. It has never been done here on the Fast and Fun side of things, and he's looking to get it done here in this series. Fox and Hagen right there with Janzik. Janzik knows if he makes one wrong move, it's game over. Oh, and Hagen knows what he's got to do now. The move of the night right coming up. This is the pass of the night here right off of turn number 2. Hagen flooring out the bottom with Fox behind him. Janzik is going to lose his ground clearance. The Elite Performance Industries machine not giving out just yet. Oh my. Oh, he said, no sir, I'm not done with you yet. I want to stay in this to win it. I'm not letting this one slip from my hands. Problem is though, Fox doesn't seem to really give a hoot, nor does he really seem to care. He's going back down there with him, trying to get to his teammate in the Blackstone Management Racing, number 83. The Ford Mustang is now moving the chains up, while the Toyota Camry of Gantic trying to hang in with that Chevrolet Camaro of Fox. Battle of the manufacturers, battles of rivals, and battles of drivers just continuing to push themselves to their maximum potential. Meanwhile, back in the field and back to the runs, the Man Beast, William Mann Jr. trying to hang in there and keep himself distant ahead of Steven Gibson, as well as Brockhead Whitehead, as well as Jason Taylor. A whole laundry list of drivers that are supposed to be in that playoff fight kind of caught off guard and kind of might have a bad run here. John Bounty earlier on tried to use a bit of an interesting strategy playbook, but it did not quite play out as well as I think he was hoping for. Now having to fight off with these guys and fight off with this crew. Facing them down off of turn number 1 and 2 here. You can see everyone kind of dipping their toes a little bit, trying to get their fingers a little bit wet because they want to make sure they have an idea how this race could transpire to the end. Hagen, by the way, has literally got about 0.3 of a second gap ahead of Fox here. Fox right now trying to find something to catch him with. And look out, here comes Alonso. The number 77 Oceanside Cabinets now looking to try to put that Zanny fam back behind him. Janzik has had troubles before with Alonso when it came to the truck side of things. Now the Cup Series wise, Alonso has studied hard, he's studied well, and now he's looking to make a move off and tame him in. Janzik's trying to hang on. He knows he's running out of major time and ground here, and I don't know if the tires are taking a beating or what's going on down there. All I know is it's extremely hard here for Janzik to get a pass up and get a run down from Lorenzo. Lorenzo has got to find a way to dive in deep in the bottom or go up high side and drive it like he stole it if he makes the pass around Janzik. Everybody in the back of the field right now continuing to keep their distance and keep their change in motion. No one left out of this one just yet. Look out, here comes Steve Clegg right in the middle looking to shoot the gap of the 19 and the 98. Bounty and Infinger having a little tussle here through the corners of 3 and 4 while Clegg watches from behind looking to show a little maple moxie up at turn 4. Running hard and thick and thin. He gets a good run down there, but you can see Infinger is not let him go just yet, but he didn't quite get it from topside back to the bottom as well as he was hoping for. That's the beauty of Iowa Speedway. You can run them multiple angles, but you have to hit it a certain way to continue to gain the ground. It tests the best of drivers and it challenges the most of drivers. That's why I absolutely love it when we can come to this track, whether it's a Super Late Model race, a truck race, an Xfinity race, or the Cup races. You just know you're in for a treat when you come down to my side of town. And it has certainly been the case here today and tonight as well. Jacob Gibbons looking to try to hold on for dear life in the Chewy.com. Number 20 has George Young right now, trying to hopefully bring some momentum and bring some payback to his crew. He's had so much issue here that it's been kind of a handful for him. Marking their way around the track side right now. The number 22, Steve Clegg, looking to maybe take this one into frame and into shot here. The well. Kyle Holden looking to do a bit of that and then some here. Jacob Gibbons looking to move off the chains as well. And right in front of all of them here, still before their eyes, 12 laps remain, and the 83 of Fulks and the 3 of Hagen have left the building and taken this one in stride. Speaking of taking a stride here, Lorenzo, he had a deep dive down on Jantic there. Speaking of deep dive down, here comes a Marauder. Here comes the Green Mountain Grill number 4. Look at him swing that thing straight down in and made Whitehead literally look like he was standing still. You want to talk about wild moments and talk about wild racing? Man, this day is just full of it. Iowa Speedway living up to the reputation. We're coming to the end, though. Final 10 laps will now be presented here by the Champion Power Equipment crew. Who will be able to walk away with this one? Who's going to be able to take this one home? We don't even know. We're going to ready to find out, though. Hagen and Fulks have been at odds with one another this entire season, whether it's Gale running that E3 or it's literally Fulks just kind of losing the momentum in the end of the race, or in this case sometimes even running out of fuel. He does not seem to quit. He will not give an inch here. All drivers giving it their heart and their soul. Tyler Meeks, Jason Taylor kind of keeping their distance here with the Man Beast Lee-Man Jr. and solid 8th place finish tonight will help his cause. It may put him in a little bit of a hamstring situation because he'll have to find a way to get a good run at Dover to keep in the top 4 and maybe knock down a Jantic or a Lorenzo. Good, maybe a little harder for Jantic unless he has a horrible race next week. We've seen crazier things happen here on Pizza Race TV though before. 8 laps remain right now. Lorenzo, man, he just needs to dive it in deep and find a way around Jantic. Jantic just will not give him anything though. Now he's going to go to the top side. He's going to try to make Jantic go up there and move it with him. There is Lorenzo now moving in. Couldn't quite get the crossover. That's a pretty smart move, though. Make it go up top side. Make him come up to you. And try to cross him off the end there. It didn't quite work the way he was wanting it to, though, in this case. The Marauder looking to maybe put up a little bit more speed. Looking to back it down a few notches here. No, that was not us. That was his glitch graphic gremlins coming at him. I think they're a little so confused whether or not they want to take him down to the depths below or the heavens above. In the back of the pack right now, 13th and 14th, Wilcox and Lawrence here. One last tussle, one last fight as Brockhead and Gibson just kind of do their own thing, kind of finish this race out on a dime and a nickel. 5 remain. High 5 in the air here as Fulks and Hagen continue really to just completely tear into one another and give themselves a handful and a half here. We've seen Jantic and Lorenzo just doing everything they can in each other, but these two have been doing it since really the start of the season. Neither driver has given an inch. Neither one has given out at any time. You can see the distance already there from Fulks and Hagen. They're so far back you can't even catch them anymore. Looks like Jantic might have found a little bit of a run here too. Here he seems to be getting a bit further ahead of Lorenzo and Harris. If these two are going to catch him, they're going to have to work in a little bit of their magic and work a little bit more speed around. Harris going down low, trying to avoid Charles Whitehead. Whitehead into the wall protection. 3 wide slew, and look out, here comes the Brad Pattenkamp. The number 10 U.S. Air Force machine just really found a huge opening when Charles went up that side there. Trey Whitehead had to back down just a slight bit to avoid the Marauder. And now Patton looking to make both of them pay for doing that. Keeping this keeping this check in place and keeping this run into the attack zone here. Look out off of turn 4. We've got ourselves a fight for the finish. 2 remain. The green flag flies high in the air, and the 3 of Fulks literally diving in deep, making it stick off of 1 and 2. The 83 of Mr. Hawkins trying to go back to back in double weeks. They'll have to hit one more time around. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your white flag presented by Champion Power Equipment. End of the line. That would have been a finish of literally a tenth of a second there. Hagen would have had it. Fox trying to get one more run here. He's going to have to dive in quick. Oh, look out. Here he comes. Sets it up for the corner. Now he's going to dive it in for 3 and 4. Will he throw the slider? He's going to go hard in off the exit. They're going to bring it straight to the finish line. It's a drag race here to the finish line. Come to the finish line. They collide off of turn number 4, but it's going to be Hagen going back to back and holding down Fox for another solid finish. Unbelievable. Janzik just holds off Lorenzo. Lorenzo and Harris will come 4th and 5th through this one, but my goodness. Fox gave it everything he had and literally shot for the moon and then some. And that is what racing is all about here. On this series, on this channel, on this track. This, my friends, was a war and a perfect way to execute a finish here tonight on for the Champion Power Equipment Fast and Fun Cup Series. There is Boyd Hagen, your race winner here in Newton, Iowa, the Iowa Speedway. And my goodness, man, I gotta believe he's a happy camper. He's pretty excited about this one. The championship hopes still on for the Blackstone Management crew, and really for all these drivers out here. What a night and what a race. While he continues his celebration, here is your ChampionPowerEquipment.com results. Boyd Hagen, literally a 1,400 of a second gap against Fox, while Janzik will come away 3rd, 4th to Lorenzo, 5th to Harris, 6th to Triple Trey, came to play Whitehead, 7th to Brad Patton, 8th to William Mann Jr., 9th to Jason Taylor, 10th to Tyler Meeks, rounds out your top 10. We'll take a look at the other finishers as well, as we got a whole list of drivers to kind of get in with and talk with here in just a minute. We'll have a listen in with the Zanny fam in just one moment. Race fans, he's now coming in with me as he hops out of that car, popping it in from Oval Sim Performance. Race fans, give it up for the Zanny fam of the Elite Performance Industries 40. It is Craig Janzik, and Janzik, congratulations on that 3rd place finish. You talked about it earlier. You said point blank, your number 1 seed going into this event. You had a lot going at the table, a lot on your mind, but you managed to hold stable and hold true with Lorenzo fighting you hard for there.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to think that they were held up, and that's fine. I don't really care, because this is playoffs. This is the times that it matters, and you got to fight hard for every position because every point counts, and that's exactly what we did today with the Elite Performance Industries Camry out there at Iowa, with probably the tightest setup that I've ever driven in a motor vehicle, and that's thankfully it's the last fixed race of the season, and the next 2 are open, and we'll be able to finish with our cars the way we want. And I really look forward to these next 2 races because I know once again we were able to retain top seed. I believe Lorenzo will probably go to 2nd seed. Eli will probably fall to 3rd, and then James will probably be 4th. And that's a powerhouse top 4, and anything can happen. So we got to make sure we're taking advantage of these good finishes.
You certainly do, indeed, and you're going to take advantage of this one coming to the line at the end. So as we are approaching our final 2 races and a championship hunt on the line, who do you want to thank here tonight for this finish here at Iowa Speedway?
Yeah, got to thank, of course, Champion Power Equipment, best generators on the market. Go ahead and get yourself one. They're at all your local hardware stores and championpowerequipment.com. Green Mountain Grills, AC Avalanche, BSM, all our supporting partners are amazing. Thanks to the Free Beer and Hot Wings show for being on the car for a little bit here and their associate sponsorship. FreeBeerandHotWings.com. Listen to them Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern. And thanks to Elite Performance Industries, get all your iRacing needs. You got apparel, we got setups, we got coaching, we got it all. ElitePerformanceIndustries.com. And thanks to you guys for the amazing broadcast. It's another one I can't wait to watch tomorrow.
Have fun with this one, Janzik. Congratulations, man, and we'll see you next time out.
10-4, buddy. Thank you.
The Zanny fan, ladies and gentlemen, Craig Janzik, another solid day and a performance that only Elite Performance Industry boys can bring to town. Let's listen in now here as we bring in your 2nd place finisher here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Randall Fox and that number 3 Chevrolet Champion Power Equipment Cup Series Camaro. And Randall, I got to ask you this, man. Were you just intending to have a fight and a half there with Hagen to the end at this entire end of this race sequence?
Yeah, I had a feeling it would come down to us, and I kind of waited for it a little bit, and I wanted to race him hard for longer, but I just kind of wanted to wait and see if we were going to get a yellow or what was just going to happen. But I figured with about 10 or 12 to go or whatever it was, I'd start getting closer and see what we had and battle it out.
You certainly did indeed. You got a little closer. You started really putting a few boosts to this tail end here, and ended up really looking like the line. It could have been yours, but I mean, I'm gonna ask you this real quick. When you went down low, were you thinking at any point maybe I should go for the slider that Iowa Speedway can be known for, or did you just think, let's just try and see what happens if I run him so close to the end? And even though you kind of tagged him a little coming off forward, which made it quite the finish there, I'll say with Hagen.
I didn't really want to get too big of a run until maybe like 2 to go. I figured that if I had any shot, I would try it then. And when I sent it down in there, I kind of felt like the top side would be better, especially off of 4 coming to the end. But I felt like if I had good enough run off of turn 2 that I could get maybe a nose or so that I could get down in there and pitch it straighter off the corner and maybe be side by side at the line. And he was just too good off the corner there on that final lap and pulled me a little bit more than we wanted. But yeah, I gave him a little love tap there to show him it was a good race. But yeah, hell of a race.
It was indeed. Anybody want to thank you for that second place finish?
Yeah, man. Thanks to all the partners. Thanks to Kevin Kershar, Champion, Power Equipment, AC Avalanche Curb Records, Reaper Speed Lab, Blackstone Management guys. That's another one too for us, and just it's a whole team effort. Thanks to y'all for putting on the show. I can't wait to go back and watch it, and everybody that makes this thing go around. It's really really fun.
Well, like I told the Zanny fam just a minute ago, enjoy this one because I think you guys gave us quite a bit to cover. But nevertheless, Randall, congratulations, man. Great to see you back in the fight, in the fray here on Pizza Race TV.
Appreciate it.
Randall Fox, ladies and gentlemen, the number 3. You're a second place finisher here tonight, only to his teammate in the Blackstone Management Racing Team, Boyd Hagen, in the number 83. And Hagen, congratulations. Another win, another trip to victory lane. And I'm going to ask this real quick because really all day long you were playing a very interesting strategy. You did the long run. You had the setup kind of dialed in for this, but at the same time, it seemed like you had a pretty decent amount of short run speed when it came off those restarts, and that ended up costing the Zanny fam Jansen quite a bit. And then Falks, you get around him, and he just kind of comes back to hunt you down there a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah, I knew Randall was going to be good. I didn't really know. I've never run or raced with any of these guys in fixed before. I think this is the first fixed setup race I've done in, quite a while. So a little bit rusty on that. Not used to lacking so much turn. And yeah, Randall was rolling pretty good tonight. It was really just trying to survive to the end and go get it then. I wasn't gonna go in here and push hard or anything like that early on and risk taking anybody else out. I mean, I'm just filling in for Kale this week. I don't want to hurt anybody else's playoff chances or anything like that. So really just try to be conservative and get it at the end.
Well, I would certainly say that definitely is not the case here because, I mean, point blank, that thing was just dialed in and really ran its race and pretty much came up to the end of all of it. So I have to ask you, though, Mr. Boyd, you made 2 appearances. You made 2 trips to victory lane. I don't think anything's going to stop you anytime soon, but who do you want to thank you for this one?
Definitely got to thank Kevin Kerchar for everything he does for us. Blackstone Management, everybody involved with that, Blaster, Champion, AC Avalanche, Curb Records, Green Mountain, everybody at Reaper Speed Lab as well. Of course, for open setup stuff, go check us out, reaperspeedlab.com. Got some good stuff out there. And everybody on Legacy, Randall and Kevin and Grant and everybody who ran tonight. And gotta thank you for putting on a show. I watched the Talladega broadcast. That was pretty good, honestly. I didn't know you're a one-man crew, but you're a hell of a one-man crew.
I was going to ask which one because we did 2 of them in the last couple of days, but, man, really appreciate the kind words and all that. So, Boyd, congratulations, man, and what a race it has been. And if you're going to watch a broadcast back with me, just a one-man crew, I definitely recommend this one, so just saying. Anyway, Boyd, have a good one, man. Congratulations. Go celebrate victory lane, sir.
Thank you, sir.
From the 83, the Blackstone Management Racing Team, ladies and gentlemen, Boyd Hagen, your race winner in the Champion Power Co-Am Fast and Fun Cup Series event. What a show it was, and a big thank you to them as well. And you fans out there, you never make it. You always make this racing just a little bit more fun, a little more interesting. I can't thank you guys enough from the bottom of my heart. We're off to an incredible start to 2022. So much more chaos still to be had and more racing to be done. So from all of us here, we sign off with you tonight. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you when the green flag charges up next time on PT Racing TV.